a professional pole fitness instructor and a yoga teacher. So I've been a professional dancer pretty much since I was allowed to work. I trained as a dancer and musical theatre performer since about 3. I came into the yoga / pole fitness industry about 5 years ago. There are people who will turn around and say, oh, well, maybe you're just like a stripper, or, you know, you can just touch your toes really well. If I'm honest, I don't really care about what people say who haven't been to my classes or who haven't experienced what I do. If you come to my class and then you turn around and say, oh, well, you're just kind of a dancer, then we can have the argument. But if I don't know them, I don't care. They can call me whatever they want. They can call me a stripper, they can call me a prostitute. I've had it all, and it's all about personal experience. So no, it doesn't bother me, but yes, I am definitely an athlete. So I was really lucky with the Ealing Pole Studio. I was kind of given it, kind of not. So when I started pole dancing, I actually started with the Putney Pole Studio, and she basically wanted to have kids. So the lady who owned it, she wanted to have kids, so I started teaching for her. And I've been teaching for about 3 years. I was teaching for loads of other places. I was a professional, I was performing, I was teaching at lots of places. And she was like, I don't really want to run it anymore. Would you like to have it? So I was really lucky. It was never in my plan to run a studio. I wanted to be freelance and be a free woman. But realistically, having the ability to choose who comes into the studio, having the ability to choose what times I do, what classes I kind of teach, how many poles there are, how many people there are, it's really empowering because it definitely feels like a female-forged company and business, and you know, pole fitness is female-forged, so they fit together quite nicely. So I have been dancing since I was 3. My mum threw me into a ballet class when I was 3 years old, and I grew up dancing. As soon as I was old enough, I went to a theatre school, and I worked and performed as a professional actor, musical theatre dancer since the age of about, I don't know, 10-ish maybe. So I've always been a professional user of my body. So I knew I could do the splits, I could always, you know, do high kicks, I could always dance professionally. I've always had very good control over my body. 5 years ago, I took up pole dance, which changed it from being just a little bit bendy to being extremely bendy and to being extremely strong as well. You know, I couldn't do a push-up 5 years ago. Now I can do 15 to 20 pull-ups on a good day. And then I found that yoga's really increased the flexibility side as well, but the use of flexibility, so the active flexibility, and it's all well and good doing splits on the floor, but if you can't do that standing up and use it for something, what's the point? So I was 3, started being able to dance, and then about 5 years ago, it really became an athletic form rather than just a high kick in the back of a chorus. Yeah, so I worked in a bar when I stopped dancing. So between working professionally as a West End dancer and taking up pole dancing, I worked in a bar. I was a manager of a bar. I've done everything. I've taught for years and years and years. At this point, no, I think I will probably always either run a pole studio or a fitness studio or some space that does fitness or dance. Won't necessarily be teaching and physically doing it my entire life, but I mean, my degree is in musical theatre as an example. My diploma is in musical theatre. All of my GCSEs, I've got dance, singing. So I think I will always be in the arts or the movement industry, but it might be backstage in like 20, 30 years time when I can't walk anymore because I'm crippled from doing so much pole. Loads of people. You can't do this on your own. No way you can do this on your own. I mean, the lady that I learned from, her name's Charlie Avella, and she ran the Putney Pole Studio, so she's the one who gave me Ealing. She was my first ever pole teacher. I still talk to her. She now has like 1 million children. I mean, she's only got 4, but like 1 million children. And she still messages me and is like, hey, you're doing really well here, you're doing really well there. My first ballet teacher, I still work for her. I still teach kids ballet for her. A lot of my friends, so I went to Erdang to train as a musical theatre performer. A lot of my friends are still working in the West End, and they are amazing. They'll repost everything I do. We'd catch up every week, and absolutely, you can't do this on your own. That would be insane. This is so much work. 100% need like a human being to be there and support you, definitely. Just try. Like, the worst that can happen is you don't enjoy it. If you don't try, you don't know. Pole is hard. Pole is really, really hard. Strippers and professional pole dancers make it look easy, but that's their job. You would never expect to go on stage as an opera singer if you hadn't trained. So and you'd never be able to run a marathon the first time you ever went for a run. You start with, 2K, then you go 5K, then you go 10K. It's the same with pole. You will start doing basic things and you might feel a bit shit, but it's a really magical place to be. It's a really interesting thing to do, things to talk about, and everybody in the community is lovely. I would just suggest go. I would also give yourself more than just one class. So, as an example, the Ealing Pole Studio, we do 4-week courses. You can't just do a drop-in as a beginner. Because you do one class, it's hard, you can't do it, you feel shit. You do your 4 classes, by the end of the 4th week, you've developed strength, you've developed abilities, you can all of a sudden do something you couldn't do in the first week. So I would give yourself time. I would give yourself a minimum of a month to at least genuinely try it. The only thing you can lose is like £15. You know what I mean? And is that worth potentially having a lifelong hobby? Yeah, absolutely. In regards to being injured and aching, every day. I wake up being like, oh my God, why do I feel like a granny? But that's, every athlete will ever tell you that. I injured my back quite badly recently, and it's all about maintenance. So I go and see an osteo every single month. I go and get sports massages as often as I can. And it's about knowing where to stop and where to change and where to grow. But the stronger you get, the better your body gets and the less that happens. But yes, if I don't wake up aching, I'll probably be dead. Do you know what I mean? It's part of the job.
Thank you so much for the interview.
That's all right, no worries at all.